Welcome to the Hypothalamic Amenorrhea podcast. I'm Dani Sheriff, your host, certified fertility awareness practitioner, functional nutrition counselor, and founder of the HA Society, and of course, an HA recovery coach who has walked where you currently are walking. This is the place to come if you care about getting your period regularly. This podcast aims to educate, inform, and keep you motivated on your period and HA recovery track. So let's dive in. But last thing, nothing on the show should be taken as medical advice, so please seek the advice of your physician. The Holistic Hypothalamic Amenorrhea Practitioner Certification will be opening enrollment as of January 28th. So if turning your mess into your message and creating a career or adding recovery coaching to your existing health practice sounds like a path that you want to take, this is the certification for you. The HHAP or the HAP is an accredited course that is the only certification specifically for HA coaches and practitioners. In this program, Ashley and I have laid out our entire framework for working with women with hypothalamic amenorrhea. We're teaching you everything from the physiology to our intake process to protocol development, tracking progress, making adjustments, and all throughout we're teaching the soft skills needed to help get buy-in from your clients so that they can make the meaningful changes that are necessary to recover for life. So, if you're interested, head to our website, thehasociety.com/certification to download the full syllabus. And if you need to book a discovery call with us to ask any questions and learn whether or not the cert is right for you, you can do that there as well. Again, that's thehasociety.com/certification. Hey everyone, welcome back to the HA podcast. Ashley and I are here today. Hello, Ashley.
Hello.
Hey. We just finished going live inside of the HA Society on this exact topic. So this topic is fresh in our mind. We went live, but we decided to kind of do a fresh take of what we were talking about as an episode for you guys, because the version live in the group is very like a bunch of friends chatting, you know what I mean? So
yes, it's like colleagues, office talk, like by the water cooler type of thing.
Exactly. But basically what triggered it was we wanted to do a conversation about blind spots. Like blind spots are a huge topic for us right now. We use them all the time in coaching. Part of our job is just to help find blind spots. So, I mean, we recently released the blind spot checklist, which is like 3 pages of just, are these habits, behaviors, mindsets, foods still present in your life, or is it not present in your life? And just to help you kind of discover what things you may be doing subconsciously or consciously, and giving you the confirmation that you need that it's not serving you. You know, for us, a blind spot is something that, you are doing that's not serving you.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to know that you need an outside opinion to really help you discover a blind spot. That's why it's called a blind spot. So just the simple fact of like, there's signs that you're probably picking up on that you have a blind spot. And just like you said, the confirmation from an outside objective person is going to like, it's just like a perfect marriage. You're already kind of having an inkling about it. And then somebody who's completely removed from the situation is able to see it clearly, and boom, that's where the magic happens and change happens.
I love it. So it brings us, I have a DM that I got. And if you guys send me a DM, you probably know by now it's either going to end up on the podcast or on the YouTube channel. If you send me a DM, be careful and make sure you say if you don't want me to share, but keep you anonymous. Absolutely keep you anonymous. But I got this DM, and it was interesting. Ashley asked me in the call that we just did in the society, she's like, were you triggered by this? Ooh. And I'm like, I was totally triggered by this, not personally, but just as a coach, about like when you come across someone who has all of the blind spots, all you want to do is help them and show them, and it's like crawling out of my skin to do so. And I have already responded to the person, and the person, if she's listening today, know that I love you and I know you didn't respond to me because maybe it was confronting. And I also wish, right, that I had asked this person before I responded, do they want the the truth? Like, do they want my real answer, or do they want the soft answer? I have no idea how this person took it, but I want to bring this to the table today because I think that this is a really great way for you guys to listen in, do a little bit of your own sort of soul searching or comparison as we read this and kind of talk through some of the blind spots that come up, see if maybe any of this helps you with the journey you're on. Anything to add there, Ash?
Yeah, no, just I like that the way that you worded that. Either do you want the soft one or the direct one, right? Like do you just want to get to the answer, or do you need some encouragement? The other thing that like we kind of brought up was like, I think it's great to ask, like, do you want confirmation or do you want truth? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, those are pretty heavy hitters right then and there.
Yeah. I mean, it's always tough, right? Through a DM, and as well, right? Like, this is a DM. You're not a client. You're not a paying client. Like I'm not going to spend a ton of time with you, honestly, like going back and forth in DMs. I wish I could, but I can't. I wish a lot that I was working with this person. I care a lot about this person, who I don't really know. And I wish that could happen. But that's why we're going to doubly address it right now today. And anyone else who sees themselves in this message, I'm going to read it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Cool. So she says, hey, my height is 167 centimeters. I weigh around 65 kilos back in February last year. Now I weigh about 49 kilos. Now I weigh 49 kilos. I lost weight in a healthy way with brisk walking. I don't eat red meat, pasta, potatoes, sweets because of my beliefs to be more orientated toward nature. I eat fruit and vegetables primarily. I also have an ambition to try modeling. To be honest, I have never felt stronger, more flexible, and better. I was restricting calories in the past, but now I'm eating about 2,000 calories a day. My skin, my appearance, my hair, and flexibility improved. Since June, I was under chronic stress because I moved to a new country for summer. I'm at university and I am constantly studying to have A grades. I only noticed one problem. I didn't get a period for 2.5 to 3 months. And I believe she means that this is current. Pregnancy is not the case. Could you give me some advice? I'm eating a balanced diet and I'm taking magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin B complex, and my gynecologist prescribed me the powder of myoinositol and folic acid. I do not want to gain any weight because of my ambitions. And most importantly, I feel good and healthy in my skin.
Woo!
So I know.
That's a lot.
There's almost every sentence has something that I want to address.
I was just going to say, I think I'm going to log into the HA Instagram so that we can actually go line by line and really
my personal.
But
I will
screenshot it and just send it to me. Yeah, just because I do think it's important. Like, this could be so meaty that we could just like overgeneralize, but I think it would be just really beneficial for us to go, like you said, line by line, address the major blind spot that we're seeing, and then kind of go from there and just see how this is potentially like a compounding blind spot issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's just see how far we get through this before you and I have an interview with Revive the Cycle at 12. So
deal.
Okay. So let's just start here with the one interesting thing actually is she is aware of the blind spots in a way because she gave us all of the information that she knows is applicable.
Yes.
However, she might not be aware that they are blind spots.
Yeah, and like honestly to her, the only reason why we know this is because we coach so many women, right?
Mhm.
So like I say this all the time, and I thoroughly stand by it. When I coach women, I try to give them the coach perspective because along with what what like they need, but simply because it's like I only know this because I see because like we've done hundreds of women recovering. Like you don't have that particular like lens, and so it's unfair for me for you to operate from there. Like it's just not fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes. Okay. Let's dive in. I have them both pulled up side by side so like we can get
Right.
into it.
Okay. So she is a bit above average height, and she, from the span of 1 year, February last year to now, right? It's currently January.
Mhm.
She's gone from 65 kilos to 49 kilos.
Yeah, I had to Google that, and I will have to
Yeah.
say that her
You should
starting
say
point.
say the poundage out for
Yeah,
the
hold on. I
Americans.
have it up on. So 65, hold on. I had the 49. So 65 is 143. And I want to pause and recognize that that's where that's where I developed HA. And I am
Same,
like,
I lost my period at about 65, 64.
oh yeah. Well, no, I didn't lose it. Like I was full blown in it, you know, type
Right.
of thing. Like
Oh yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I probably lost mine around 155, but
Mm.
that's just guessing. I don't have any actual evidence about that, but that's where I guess. And so just that in general, just want us to be really mindful. The first blind spot is we think that there's a particular weight that classifies us as developing HA. And that's not true, right? But what makes this even worse is that she's at 49 kilos, and that puts her at 108 pounds. That is
At 167 centimeters, I know that that's quite lean.
That is
And
very, very lean. Like just very lean. Very lean. Because I was very, very lean at 145. Granted, everyone's body is different, body composition is different. So to hearing this and knowing that
and what
she's
are you,
taller
like
than me,
163 centimeters?
huh?
And what are you height wise? You're
Oh,
probably like
yeah, let me do the
5'3" or something.
centimeters. 160. Us Americans. So 160, okay, no, sorry. 163 centimeters is 5'3", and that's about where I'm at.
I'm so good.
Yeah, you are. PS, which puts this into bigger perspective, I would be dead. I mean, I'm not over exaggerating. Me at 108 pounds would be dead because at
Couldn't get there.
145 pounds, I was like 15% body fat. And I was already like a hormonal digestive absolute wreck. I could not imagine losing 30 to 40 more pounds. Like that actually puts me in like now a state of concern for this individual. Not saying that our body types are exactly the same. I realize I carry more muscle, but I'm still at concern of a woman being at 108 pounds through weight loss.
Yes. Which brings us to a kind of the next blind. What are we done on a blind spot? Do we feel?
Yes, that weight
Yeah.
is that like there's a certain weight. So that is a huge blind spot. Welcome to the club. We all function from there. Okay, next.
Yeah. Okay, so it brings us into our next one, which is I lost weight in a healthy way with brisk walking.
Yeah,
Yeah, how you lose the weight can matter, but doesn't always matter. It can be just that you lost the weight.
absolutely. That is a huge blind spot of, well, I didn't do a crash diet. I also lost weight in the healthy way and still developed HA. Your body doesn't particularly care. It's just the simple fact of less leptin, less body fat, less energy coming in. Your body doesn't particularly care how it was done. It's just you're now at a threshold that is not supportive to ovulation.
Yeah.
Blind spot number 2, that the way you lose weight matters. I wish like we were doing like the video so we could do a big X.
I have a buzzer that does that sound.
Oh, yeah.
Next time. Okay. I don't eat red meat, pasta, potatoes, and sweets because of my beliefs to be more orientated towards nature. I eat fruit and vegetables primarily.
Pause. It was, I don't eat pasta or potatoes because I'm right. Did she say potatoes? Let me double check,
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure
pasta,
potatoes grow in
potatoes.
the ground.
Yeah,
Potatoes grow in the ground.
yeah.
And
So nightshades, basically. And red meat, I mean, I think she basically means like a plant-based diet and has some, I actually have never really looked into like the beliefs behind veganism, in fairness, so I have no idea. I'm guessing there's something about like it's better for the environment, in her opinion.
I feel like we're throwing in pasta and potatoes because they're higher calorie. And
Okay.
we may potentially. So one of the
I think
questions,
people do that with red meat as well.
yes, yes, I think because pasta and potatoes are exactly what we would recommend to somebody to help them get their well, not so much. I mean, pasta, do what you want. You know what I mean? But potatoes, I'm gonna stand firm on. Anyway, you know what I mean? But just because you do actually need glucose, your ovaries need glucose. If your body didn't need glucose, it wouldn't go to such an extent from like creating glycogenesis from fat and protein in order to create glucose for your body. Funny thing, this actually goes straight into what I was just doing for the certification of. It's interesting that we believe that the body doesn't, like you hear this all the time, the body doesn't need carbs. Okay, I'll give you that, but the body does need glucose. So that's why your body makes it out of
Oh, boom. Yeah.
fat and protein. That's fine. That's fine. But we still need to acknowledge that your ovaries and your brain all function off of glucose. And that is why there's a backup mechanism for your body to do it. And that intense stress, that is stressful on the body. You know what I mean? So blind spot number 2, potentially I don't need starchy carbs, potentially type of thing.
Yeah. There's like blind spot number 3 or 4, but
Okay. Yes.
you're like wherever we're at. I knew we'd lose count quickly.
Yeah.
I think there's a second, like an additional blind spot in here too, which also will come up again. But that, like, I don't know how to word this. I have beliefs, and so thus it should be fine for me to do this. Like it shouldn't have an effect.
Yes, y'all can't see my face, but that hit real good. That I have this particular goal, and whatever action steps it takes to get there should be permissible because of my goal.
Yeah, I think we all can resonate with that. It comes up all the time in different ways, shapes, and fashions. That it's like the most common way I hear it is like, but I'm just still uncomfortable with the weight gain. Okay, but I just still can't, like, I just should still be able to control this. And that's a little bit more nuanced and specific and individual to each situation. Like different people have gained different amounts of weight or not gained any. But it's just, this particular one is an example of like, so I have these beliefs, so I'm gonna need my body to like work around that. And it's like, I hear you, and absolutely there are things that we'll try with someone who's a vegan or vegetarian, but you have to be open to the fact that you may only progress so far.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is really even like, none of this is our fault. So I just want to step
No.
our beliefs. But I do think that we have been sold the lie that you can do anything. How many times do we tell women that? You can do anything. You can do anything.
Just put your mind to it, and you're dedicated, and you get up
Exactly.
5 a.m.
Yeah, you can get up at 5 a.m. You can train fasted. You could be a great mother. You can run. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go into my own personal rant, but you know what I mean? But I just think that we take that and apply that to everything because we've been told that we can do anything.
And if we don't, it says something about us and our character.
Exactly. So therefore, why can't I be basically vegan, excluding potatoes and pasta. You know what I mean?
There's
And
probably more on that list, you know.
oh yeah. And have a cycle. I was told I can do anything. And so I'm actually really, I mean, I get the like initial, I get the initial part. And I'm sure when someone like started that, they weren't like, please apply this to every single part of your life. But I think that we have grabbed onto it and applied it to every single part of life. I think like we have overgeneralized what that actually means, and we've internalized it to every aspect of our life. And I'm like, your body's saying something else. Blind spot number 5, 4, 5. You can't do anything you want and have optimal health.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that might,
good.
I was like, I want that to be the name of the episode, but people might not want to listen to it.
I'll write it down.
Okay. I have ambition to try modeling. To be honest, I've never felt stronger, more flexible, and better. So, I mean, I don't think we have any judgment around the ambition to be a model. There's no problem with that. The problem is with the industry, but that's a whole other topic. But that just kind of plays into, right, like, well, what is required? What do you think is required to be a model? Mm-hmm. And what like rules and restrictions have you put on yourself because of that ambition? Like, what is the ambition itself causing you to do?
Yeah. And side note, can I just say that I would like for there to be more mid-size, plus size models so that there's more diversity on Pinterest, but never mind that. Yes. So no beef, like it's not a blind spot. Oh, well, it could be a blind spot.
I'd love to be a model.
Yeah, no, Dani,
look at me.
We're going to do that in our passion project after this one. Like we're going to no, we're not going to start a clothing brand, but I need people to see other types of bodies on Pinterest specifically. Even if we just do, I don't know, like we'll just, whatever, table that. That's a great big dream of ours. We'll do that. Anyways, but I think is it a blind spot that the certain job that you are in requires certain things that are not optimal to health? Again, not every job is optimal for health. Like I'm pretty sure like firefighters have to know, obviously, that they are at risk of smoke inhalation and all the damage that happens to that. You know what I mean? I'm sure
anyone that works at a hospital that or does some like shift work knows.
Yes, shift work. Yes, it is not optimal for health. It's actually considered like a carcinogen. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's like proven. Anyways, so I think we have to come to terms with I am attempting to break into an industry that is not optimal for health and could care less about healthiness and a menstrual cycle and ovulating. Like we just have to be, we have to go in with eyes open about that, knowing that there's potentially going to be some conflict.
Some good examples. I've got two.
Yes, go for it.
Being an Olympian or an elite athlete, we are under the false belief sometimes that athletes are supremely healthy, right? But if you talk with one, oftentimes they'll tell you that that's absolutely not the case. Every single day they're getting up and they are sacrificing their body's homeostasis to continuously push it to its limits, to force it under a level of stress that will force it to adapt, to be a certain body weight to win a gold medal, like to stay light enough to do a triple axel or whatever it is. Like these are choices they're making and sacrifices they're making for their health, for human performance. How funny that none of us as a culture judge them for that. It makes perfect sense because of the Olympics, right? And so it's okay to make a choice. Hey, it's a victimless crime. You're the only one, right? But you just can't have that expectation. And I have a mate. I love this client. She's a helicopter pilot. And she has to wear a uniform, and that uniform requires like a certain amount of time if you got to order a bigger one and things like that. So it was really stressful for her. to like be waiting for this uniform to come as the current one is getting tight, right? And she has a lot of, there's probably more around it too, like how she's perceived by her workmates and concerns around what it's going to look like when she orders this new uniform. But you know what? She bloody did it, because she knew that like those things are things that could hold her back, and they could be reasons and excuses, right? My career, my job, you know, I think for most people, your weight impacting your job is an excuse. And I'm like most people. I can't really think of an example.
Y'all, we have been trying to record this for like 30 minutes. So here we go. Take 580. Hey, did you know that we support people with HA, low progesterone, anovulation, short luteal phases, and all of the types of challenges that come up with infertility?
Dani and I are practitioners that have helped hundreds of women beat HA, regain fertility, and get pregnant naturally.
We are here to break the status quo of spending tens of thousands of dollars on IVF treatments for women who have issues that can absolutely be solved naturally.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So we do this with our signature program that restores ovulation to regain healthy menstrual cycles. And if you're ready, get pregnant completely naturally.
On top of our one-on-one sessions, our fertility program even includes a styling session with Samantha Dawn, who is a body positive stylist. She's also our personal stylist.
Yes.
And an expert in helping you to dress your new and nourished body.
This is so important that we don't even need to convince you on how important this is. We want you to relearn how to nourish your body, claim your fertility, and feel confident in your clothes as your body changes. It doesn't have to be painful.
No, yeah, exactly right. It doesn't have to be painful. With a little bit of guidance and support, you can absolutely do this. So if getting your cycle back and if feeling good about the process, if getting pregnant naturally is something you want to do, if you don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on medical treatment for something that you don't have to, we have just the place for you to go. So go to the hasociety.com/coaching to learn more about who we are, what we do, and apply today.
Yeah, we look forward to supporting you.
That was good. Do you like that one?
Yeah, okay. I do like that one. That one's way more us.
Yeah, boom. There you go.
You're on mute. You're on mute, but you don't know that.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Now I lost my train of thought. Sorry, skip over me on this one.
That's okay. All right.
Next, blind spot. Okay, yeah, I've never felt stronger or more flexible.
Yes.
Blind spot. Yeah, totally, like number 6 or whatever we're up to.
Yeah, blind spot. I think it's 7. I don't know. Guys, we will outline this properly.
I think it's 6.
Okay, 6. Is the blind spot is how I feel now is how I will always feel.
Or how I feel now is definitely indicative of what's going on.
Yeah, this is like blind spot 6, A and B. So A
is the analogy. Okay, you go
yeah.
first.
Yeah, okay. So blind spot 6, letter A is how I feel now is how my body will feel 3 years from now. And nobody actually really knows, right? So but we have both gone through HA. We coached hundreds of women to regain their cycle. And what we do actually know from working with clients is this condition actually only gets worse and it does not get better with time. It deteriorates. Like your gut health may be able to withstand what is going on right now, but with a lack of biodiversity, a lack of estrogen, a lack of progesterone, a lack of leptin, just a lack of hunger hormones, just all these things will like trigger other symptoms. And this is why we start to see like one root cause, 20 symptoms, and then people spend thousands of dollars with multiple doctors trying to play whack-a-mole with all the symptoms. And the truth is that if you would have told me 2 months into my HA journey that I was not healthy, I probably would have been like, you know nothing, you're lame, screw you, you just don't
I'm
approve of
healthy, my period is gone, and that's like
yeah,
happening elsewhere.
yeah, that's
outside
like
of my health.
exactly, like I am the picture of health. You won't be able to find a doctor who won't say that I'm not healthy.
True
You know what
that.
I mean? Which is all technically true at that time. And at that time, I did feel great. Well, one, I was also
Yeah, you
jacked
did.
on cortisol. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
you are.
Guys, I have got, oh my gosh, this week I've got to share my cortisol Dutch test. It was so out of this world. No wonder why I felt like I was on top of the world every single time I woke up, because my cortisol
Well,
was
Ashley talks a lot about, or has in the past a lot about how she mourned and probably still does. She felt great. I'm getting up in the morning. I'm getting all this stuff done by 10 a.m. I'm like firing off. I haven't had breakfast yet, but yeah.
yes. You know how much I
Good.
got done by 10 a.m. I was the most productive person known to mankind because I was so jacked up on cortisol. I kid you not, like the way I envisioned how I used to be is that when my eyes opened, like I just shot out of bed. Like if someone had a cannonball, like that's how I would fire up like that fast. Like no wonder I was able to get all that done before 10 a.m. because I was like running around like I was on crack, but that's a whole other thing. The point is, in that stage, there's no way you could have told me that this is going to get worse. You're not healthy. This is going to lead to gut issues. This is going to lead to your hair. This is going to lead to like just so much mental distress, depression, anxiety, all these things. You could not convince me then. So the blind spot is that she's in this ignorant bliss moment that does feel nice and it is comforting. And there are moments in my journey where I wish I could have gone back to that, when I was like, I knew nothing. But that does not mean that the current state of health you are feeling is how you're going to feel in 2 years. Just because your body is resilient and is currently right now fighting for homeostasis does not mean that it won't eventually give way. That's the blind spot.
Yeah.
That only comes from experience. So that's a true blind spot because you don't know what like you don't know. But okay, so 6B. You.
Well, the analogy I hear with this one, right, where it's like I feel really good, so I don't want to change anything. Imagine you're driving somewhere and your check oil light comes on or your check engine light comes on. And you're like, well, the car feels fine right now, so I'm going to ignore that. You wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you wouldn't. Yes, you acknowledge that the car feels fine because the check engine light has come on to warn me that, hey, this is really low. You need to check this before we completely shut down. That is what is happening here. Or like you can keep driving it, but you're going to be causing damage to other areas at a certain point, right? Just because it feels fine right now does not mean anything. There's something called pain threshold too. There could be a problem. You could have an injury where you don't actually feel the pain till the injury gets to a certain point, and then you start to feel the pain or the discomfort or the tightness or tendonitis, things like that. So this is why actually looking at your cycle and having a cycle and noticing how it's going is good, because you're getting the heads up, or you're getting the information that you can't see. We cannot always see it or feel it, and that is the blind spot.
Maybe this is blind spot 6, letter C, is that like we were saying, is that like your feelings are real, but it doesn't mean that they're always valid. It does not mean just because you feel healthy You know what I mean? And I don't want to discredit how you feel in your body, because that is something as women we need to reclaim.
Dude,
100%.
I feel a lot of things that are not valid.
Yes. You know what I mean? Just like we feel quote unquote fat, right? And while, so like but is that actually really what's going on, or is there something else going on deeper? But anyways, again, feelings are real, but it doesn't mean that they're always true. Meaning that, just like you were saying, like you feel great now, but that does not mean that you are actually healthy, unless your definition of healthy is, as a woman, lacking estrogen and progesterone, which your brain is specifically designed to operate on. And there's estrogen receptors throughout your entire body that play multiple roles, and you're okay without having that. If healthy to you is having massive digestive issues, or, like
Yeah.
lack of hormones, or not having the main hormones that you need.
Having poor circulation, or
Feeling
thin
cold all the
hair.
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
no, totally. Dude, we are like maybe halfway now.
I know.
Okay. I
Okay.
have never felt stronger, more flexible, and better. The
Yeah, I think
blind
it's
spot here, is it, well, okay, well, real quick. Oh yeah, like how you feel. As well, then feeling strength and flexibility are not really relevant. Okay. Number 7. I was restricting calories in the past, but now I'm eating around 2,000 calories per day.
Yes. So number 7, we were also eating around 1,800, around 2,000 in fully developed HA. Again, this is not where an external source can tell you what your body needs to ovulate. Only your body gets to decide how much food or energy it needs in order to ovulate. And just because 2,000, and so I'm speaking to my former self, just because 2,000 is way more than what everybody else is eating around you, does not mean that your body should just do it.
Mm-hmm. And just
Yeah.
because you're eating more now than you used to doesn't mean you're eating enough.
Yes. Huge blind spot. I see myself in this chick all over. You know what I mean?
100%. I know, this is why I love this email or this message.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, yes. Okay. Since June, I was under chronic stress because I moved to a new country and I'm studying, and I constantly, I'm constantly studying to have A grades. So this isn't really a blind spot necessarily. She's like aware in this one.
I actually think,
Mm.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I think this is a blind spot because I think right here, I think she's trying to direct us
In the blame.
and push the blame to stress. And I'm not saying that stress does not play a
Okay.
significant role. I'm not. But if you've been around here long enough, you have heard me talk about the stress bucket. And while this could play a role, the nutritional stress and the hormonal stress, plus this lifestyle, like university moving, is playing a role. But this is simply not the only reason why your cycle is potentially missing.
Yeah.
I think if we the blind spot is, this is just stress and there's nothing else playing a role.
Yeah.
And the issue with this,
probably the bigger thing.
Yeah. And so while I'm not saying that this isn't part of the stress bucket, it's not the main thing that's sending you up and over and overflowing of the stress bucket. And I think it's kind of one of those things of, this is really tricky because everybody goes down this road and they're like, okay, well, once I'm out of university, once I'm out of this job, once I make more money, once this happens, everything. I had a client who I knew stress, but like anxiety stress over everything, type of stress over every morsel, type of food, whatever. Actually, I've had 2 clients like this right now, recently, obviously more, but right now that are coming to mind, where one of them, I did know that a job change for her was going to be significant, but it wasn't enough to push her over. It was one of the big rocks that we had to handle was the stress, but without increasing specifically her starchy carb intake, because she was crushing protein and fat, without increasing that starchy carb intake, she was not going to ovulate. And sure enough, she did. You know what I mean? So I currently do not foresee this being the only thing that is actually impacting stress. I mean, impacting a loss of a cycle. So that would be the blind spot, I think, is that we think that this is the sole reason your cycle's missing.
Yeah, so I was going to say a similar thing where it's like, or the blind spot is that you think that stress is playing a bigger role than it really is. Look, we do talk about stress a lot, and we do not invalidate stress. Stress is going to start to really show its head in how your existing cycle performs. You're really going to see stress show up in ovulation and luteal phase parameters more so than your entire cycle going missing. Your cycle going missing is a lot more to do with the energy deficit, not having sufficient body fat, things like that. So absolutely it plays a role. And if anything, you know, it could be more complex than that, right? Like the need to get like the stress caused by stuff like trying to get best in the class or whatever is you know, it causes you to like do restrictive behaviors. It's like a coping mechanism, things like that. And it's probably just not quite the contributor that you want it to be, perhaps. Okay. Number 8-ish or 9. I only noticed one problem. My period disappeared for about the last 3 months. So we kind of touched on this already, I think, but the blind spot here is thinking that this is happening in a vacuum. Everything else about you is in tip-top shape. And the period thing is just like happening over to the side, and everything about your life is just like so fine, or like you are so healthy that it must be something else.
Yeah. And the really big thing is that the blind spot is that you currently don't know right now that this is going to cause a system-wide effect. Like system-wide, you know what I mean? And again, that's only from experience and actually either going through it for yourself or being in a community like the HA Society where you hear everyone's story and everyone's experience, or as a coach. So this is truly like a blind spot. And honestly, I lived in this for multiple years. I'm fine. I'm healthy. I'm the definition of health. I just don't have a cycle. So,
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's also people who think, including us, look how healthy I am.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm so athletic, right? To think that athletic equals health. And so thus, look at me.
And I'm sure there's tons of doctors who actually probably agree with her. You're fine.
Totally.
Yeah, we've been there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm eating a balanced diet and I'm taking a bunch of subs.
So yeah,
we know this is a blind spot because you've already said the complete opposite earlier in the message.
Yeah, absolutely. That there's no way that we're actually eating a balanced diet, because it sounds like you're only eating carbs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're only eating veggies and fruit, those are technically carbs. I'm just kind of worried about her fat intake. I'm worried about her protein intake. And you would like the amount of food, which would definitely be larger than 2,000 calories, that you would have to eat in order to somehow even create the perfect mixture to get full nutrients, vitamins, minerals.
I mean, at that point, you would be causing digestive issues.
Absolutely. Like you would be like bloat up to like you'd be like a hot air balloon. So yeah. Big blind spot that we potentially don't know what a balanced diet is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Education. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to touch on the supplementation because it's just too specific, but okay. And then, so let's get the very final statement here. I do not want to gain any weight because of my ambitions, and mostly I feel good and healthy in my skin. So I think this is a little recap.
Couldn't say it better myself. You know what I mean? That all this is to justify my goal of not gaining weight, maintaining at an extremely low body weight and likely extremely low body fat percentage in order to be successful in an industry that values that. And
100%.
that's fair if that is what you want to do. Like
You just can't have both.
Yeah, you just are not going to be able to cycle with these current habits in place.
And we're not, like, I don't know, this might anger people, right? We're totally fine. I remember the first time someone told me I can't have my cake and eat it too. If you could, we would be so successful right now if we knew the answer to how you can have it all. Ashley and I would be selling that all over the place.
We'd be millionaires.
We'd be making cash money, you know, and but there is no one out there who can give you all of it.
Yeah.
We wish, but that's how you know that we are telling you from love, the truth, so that you do not have to waste any more time. Check your blind spots, y'all.
Yeah.
Check your blind spots. Look over your shoulder check.
Ask a friend, get an objective opinion, and honestly, ask yourself, do you want confirmation of your habits, or are we actually interested in the truth?
Absolutely. So Ashley and I have a couple things that you can do, some like next steps that, you know, anyone can take if you're having a moment where you're like, wow, okay, I might have a whole bunch of blind spots I need to start unpacking. You are in for a journey, my friend. We have a bunch of stuff because I feel like this is really at the core of what we do. We have the DIY Restore program. This is new. Okay, so you guys heard us recently talk about the Restore program live. We heard about, it was a small group and it was live and it was at a higher price point. We heard that a lower price point option would be much enjoyed. We have created that for you that will help you work through all of that. It's pre-sale is up right now at thehasociety.com/restore. So you can go get that. Is it 187, Ashley?
I think so. I think that's what we wind up paying it at.
187, a whole year of access to the HA Society as well. So you can get our support in there with all of this work. We also have the Period Recovery Game Planner, is really helpful for uncovering blind spots around food and exercise. You can get that from the our website as well, thehasociety.com/store. That's like $37. You know, these are really, really accessible ways to help you start figuring out some blind spots. And we have the blind spot checklist, which is free. That's at thehasociety.com/blind spot. And that just has a bunch of suggestions of places for you to start looking. This stuff is deep work. More than a free PDF can give you. So you definitely need to dig deep, find that like that accountability, find that person to give you that third party objective. And don't worry if you are scared or if you are uncomfortable with any of the concepts that you heard today or that you come up against in your own work, because there has to be a first time and there has to be a first reaction. But the more that you work at it, it will all start to make sense and it all starts to unravel. And then you become like Ashley and
I. Yeah. Where you're like, oh gosh, look at all my blind spots.
May or may not be a good thing. Okay, do you have any closing thoughts, Ash?
No, I'm just really happy that yeah, that like we're doing this, and I just want you to know that like this was us. This is a safe place to come and say, hey, so about those blind spots, I have them. And just know that you're going to be met with love and compassion and understanding, but also just truth delivered in love. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, I'm excited.
This was awesome. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast, and if you could head to iTunes specifically and leave a rating or review, that would help so much because it makes it easier for other people with HA who are Googling around to find the podcast really easily. So if you do that, you're doing a service to all of the women.
Science proves quality sleep is vital to your mental, emotional, and physical health. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed senses your movements and automatically adjusts to help keep you both effortlessly comfortable. And it's temperature balancing, so you stay cool. So you're at your best for yourself and those you care about most. Life-changing sleep, only from Sleep Number. It's our President's Day special. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.